It 100% is. Look, you might have that right now, right? You might be able to say whatever you want now, but once the federal government is given this type of power, who's to say you're going to have that right in the future? Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Folks, we have breaking news here with free speech being under attack once again, but this time coming from our federal government with the Biden administration creating a disinformation governance board. Now, as always, folks, if you want to support us here at the Bald Brad Show or support a conservative, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. Your help would be greatly appreciated. Now, with that, this article comes from our friends over at the Daily Wire, and they say here, after Joe Biden was declared the winner of the 2020 presidential election, independent journalist Glenn Greenwald predicted that Democrats would use the force of the government to crack down on conservative reporting under the guise of combating quote-unquote national security threats. Now, President Biden's Department of Homeland Security is reportedly working to create a disinformation governance board to counter what they determine to be false information relating to national security. So it's what they determine to be false, and they're going to determine that through disinformation, but watch how they conflate this with misinformation. On Wednesday, Politico reported that DHS is creating the board to coordinate countering misinformation related to Homeland Security, focused specifically on irregular migration and Russia. Well, you're going to give the government the power to determine what is false and what is true? Does nobody see the ramifications this could possibly have? Can we not look at history at other governments and see what were the outcomes of regulating speech? Of what were the outcomes of the government determining what is truth and what is false? Of the propaganda that could be exposed of quote unquote being correct by the government, but in reality, that's actually false. Like, can nobody understand this from the Democrat side of the aisle? But this is what Obama wanted, and we'll get to that in a moment. This is clearly what Biden wants. Why? Because they could sit there and stop whatever they want of being pushed out by the conservative side of the aisle or Republicans. They get to determine what is truth and what is false. This is scary stuff, folks. And like I said, this is an attack on free speech. It 100% is. Look, you might have that right now. Right? You might be able to say whatever you want now, but once the federal government is given this type of power, who's to say you're going to have that right in the future? They will slowly chisel it away, folks, and they're trying to do it right now. Big tech has been trying to do it. The left's been trying to do it. The left have infiltrated the Democrat Party. Now they're trying to do it. Like I said, this has been going on for a while from the Democrat Party, folks. It's going back even to Obama days, even before then. But I always use this kind of analogy with freedom of speech. And I use our Second Amendment as the analogy. Is yes, we have the right to bear arms. And yes, you can go buy various pistols and rifles and stuff like that. But they're even limiting the type of pistol you'd want or the type of rifle that you can get. And what they're slowly doing by creating these bump stops and these regulations and all that stuff is they're slowly chiseling away at your right to bear arms. Yes, you can get different pistols, different rifles. Nobody's disagreeing with that. The whole point is that you're slowly allowing the government to slowly encroach upon your right to do something, whether that's freedom of speech or your right to bear arms. So if you give the government an inch, they're going to take a mile. And what I mean by that is at some point in the future, not now, maybe not in 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years, 100 years or so, at some point you might not have that right anymore because you gave government so much power, you gave them so much leeway to sit there and chisel away at your right that it doesn't even exist anymore, folks. That's the scary thing here. This is some Orwellian stuff. Well, it says on Wednesday, again, Politico reported all this. Well, Nina Jankowicz will now reportedly head the new DHS board as an executive director. Jankowicz was one of the prominent liberals who appeared to believe that the device was Russian disinformation. While Russia was and has been certainly guilty on putting out disinformation around the globe, American intelligence officials have also labeled factual information like Hunter Biden's laptop from hell as Russian propaganda as well. Even the mainstream media now admits that the contents of the laptops were real. But again, this is who the Democrats want to give all the power to, is our government that's labeled literally factual information as false information. And this is just one example of many. Hell, you can look throughout history on how often the government is wrong. The government is just made up of people. People are going to gather information and they're going to screw things up, which is why you don't want that in the hands of the federal government to determine what is false and what is true. And I can't emphasize how scary this is. And the sad thing is there's people that think this is a good idea. There's a lot of people that think the government should be able to wield this type of power to determine what is truth and what is false. You should leave that up to the individual, the American public. Like if somebody's swayed by disinformation or misinformation, that's nobody's fault but yours. You're the one that sit there and got suckered into it. I don't even believe my own viewers to believe everything I say. Read the articles, click on it yourself, do your own research, read the studies, read the stats. Go above and beyond that one person saying that to determine what is false and what is true. But, again, the government thinks they know everything. They think they know what's right for the American public. They think they know how to do everything. But yet they create all these programs. They create all these disastrous policies for us to deal with. And then now they want to have this type of power and wield this type of power. You're out of your mind. Look at how long did we hear about this whole thing of like, oh, the laptop's not real. This stuff's fake. It's Russian disinformation. And then now they're all going, oh, crap. But this is from our intelligence community. It's not like it's from just duller Joe Biden over here that can't remember what the hell today is and what he said yesterday. So it's not like you have dumb people running the show. These are smart people in our intelligence community that screwed up. And quite frankly, because they screw up so often, I don't want to give them that type of power, nor would I ever. Well, it says in March of 2021, Jankowicz tweeted that the intelligence community has a high degree of confidence that the Kremlin used proxies to push information narratives, or influence narratives, including misleading or unsubstantiated claims about President Biden to U.S. media officials and influencers, some close to President Trump, a clear nod to the alleged Hunter laptop she posited. It is unclear what she was suggesting was misleading or unsubstantiated with regard to the laptop when she sent that tweet. Various media outlets at the time had not dug into the veracity of its contents. The media and Jankowicz appeared to accept at face value the intelligence community's false report that it was Russian disinformation. Oh, well, the government said it, so it must be true. They've never lied to us before. This is how naive these people are, folks. Just because the government tells you something does not mean it's true. The government's done a lot of shady crap. Look, I'm a proud American, folks. I love our country, but I'm telling you, I will never put my faith in our government. I will never put my faith in my state government. I will put faith in God himself, and that is it. Well, it says Twitter also infamously blocked the story from its site based on information from intelligence community members. And this is why the left are losing their crap with Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, because they can't spew their misinformation. They can't spew their disinformation anymore and try to sway viewers from one point to another. Now that you actually have 2 points of the conversation or argument coming into effect, meaning Republicans and Democrats coming in now, meaning the Republicans and conservatives actually having a voice on Twitter, now they're all scared because now they can't push their own misinformation. And look, I think they should be able to say what they want to say. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. It's not about freedom of speech for some. It's about freedom of speech for all. And if you got those knuckleheads wanting to write knucklehead things on the internet, let them do it. Because truth will always win. God's voice will always prevail, right? God is truth. Truth will always prevail as long as you don't have any government interference in doing so. It also says the media and Jankowicz appeared to accept, again, the face value. And Twitter ended up blocking all this stuff about the Hunter Biden laptop. You couldn't post. If you did, you were blocked or deleted and all that crazy censoring crap. Consider also that on November 16, 2020, former President Barack Obama, which I mentioned before, stated that a combination of government regulations and corporate practices was needed to control the internet. Yes, again, it's always about control. Do you notice that? It's never about freedom. It's never about liberty with some of these people. I don't understand it. Why can't you just let people live their life? Leave them the hell alone. It's always about government wanting to have more power and encroach upon the American people at every freaking intersection of their life. Quote, there is no question that Democrats are gearing up to use their power, new power, to apply far more pressure than ever on Facebook, Google, Twitter, etc., to censor any views they deem threatening, journalist Glenn Greenwald tweeted at the time. And he's absolutely right. Look, he was right at the time then, he's right at the time now, is that Democrats want to wield this power. And they want to wield this power to go in favor of the direction of their narratives, not the direction of conservatives and Republican narratives, or even ideas. And this is, I can't emphasize this enough, folks. I'm trying to be as clear as I possibly can and kind of not strike fear in people, but this stuff's scary when you have the government talking like this. This has never gone in a good direction, ever, ever. Quote, please look at what is going on here. Greenwald added, Democrats are defining whoever opposes them not as adversaries, but as national security threats, fascist terrorists, etc. He's not too far off by them calling us fascist terrorists, by the way. I mean, Antifa's been doing it for years now at this point, calling conservatives like Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, all of them are just fascist terrorists according to their freaking insane minds. All to justify blocking them from the internet using their influence with Silicon Valley. And again, this has been going on, which is, I keep emphasizing it. Elon Musk buying Twitter is an advancement for free speech. And it's odd how this news drops, right? It's odd how this news drops out just a few days, 72 hours after Elon Musk makes his big announcement that he's going to purchase Twitter, that now they're sitting there going, oh, well, hey, we're going to have this governance board here that's going to sit there and select misinformation, disinformation, and we're going to conflate the two. And we'll be coming for you. It's like Uncle Sam wants you. Well, the only thing he wants from you is either you to join the military or he wants to sit there and silence you and remove your rights. That's all it seems like what's been going on here for the last few years with these Democrats wanting to, again, encroach and wield this new power here of censoring Republicans and conservatives. Was it likewise in late April of this year, Obama announced that he believed that some democratic oversight was needed on the internet to supposedly protect democracies from disinformation. See, you're protecting the democracy, right? It's all about protection. You know what I mean? This is how they use this stuff. Look, Republicans have done it too. This is what the government does. They say, well, it's about your protection, right? It's national security threats. And this is what Greenwald was talking about. This is what, you had Bush do this, right? So that's why I'm saying it's coming from both sides. It's all about protecting you, okay? We want to make sure that you don't get hurt. We don't want words to hurt you, okay? Words, can really damage your soul. That whole saying, sticks and stones can break my bones, words can never hurt me. That's not a real thing. Like, we're the government. We'll tell you what's real and what isn't. We'll tell you what's false and what's true. Put all your trust in us. Don't put all your trust in God. Put all your trust in us because we know what's best for you. We're 3,000 miles away from you. We've never met you, seen you for. Hell, we don't even know you exist other than what's on your tax papers, and you're not paying us the money taxes. But hell, we know what's best for you. We know what's best. I mean, folks, is that not just creepy the way that I did that, right? Think of me as the government. Does that seem right? That seems really freaking off. But these are what the Democrats want. I believe we should use every tool at our disposal to secure our greatest gift, a government of, by, and for the people for generations to come. See how he words that? I mean, come on. We're supposed to believe that. I believe we should use every tool. Yeah, every tool to slowly chisel away at your rights. Like the freedom of speech, like the Second Amendment, which is what, again, they've been doing. That's why there's that famous video of Obama always answering the question about people, about him taking away people's right to bear arms. I'm not taking your right to bear arms. I'm just going to limit you on the firepower that you're allowed to have legally, that you have the right to have, the God-given right to protect yourself. Look, you're not going to be able to use this gun, but you can use this gun, this gun, this gun. And then slowly we're going to remove this gun, this gun, this gun. Slowly you're going to be able to not say this, this, and this, but you could say this, right? This part's good. And you see that from Twitter all the time. This part you could say, this part you can't. This part you can say about COVID-19, but this one's a little sketchy. This is what they're doing. They're deciding. The government wants to decide what you can and can't say. Considering that in 2020, Twitter took extra efforts to censor any mention of Hunter's laptop story off its platform while citing national security concerns, it is not unreasonable to assume that in the future, Biden's Disinformation Governance Board could use every tool at the government's disposal by working with big tech censor future stories that they incorrectly deem to be a threat to American democracy. And that could be like Donald Trump writing something. That could be like me posting something on the internet. Oh, look at this conservative. Oh, we can't go with what this guy says. This guy's completely wrong. This is wrong. This is completely misinformation or disinformation. He's going against what history has, right? And the problem with that, again, folks, is the left like to use revisionist history. I mean, if you go to Barnes and Nobles, just to bring this up, I was there the other day. If you go to Barnes and Nobles, the 1619 project's in the history section. There's so many things with the 1619 project. It baffles my mind that's even allowed to be on the history section, right? At least make it like fiction or something. You know what I mean? To present that as like historical fact is completely mind-boggling. I'm not saying it shouldn't be on the shelves. I'm just saying it's in the wrong spot. It's not historical, right? You to conflate like racism with freaking traffic is just mind-blowing. That's in the book, folks. I'm not just making that up, creating like some sort of bit here. It really is conflating racism with like traffic patterns. It's mind-blowing. But again, we're going to put that in the history section right in the front of everything else. It says, if the Disinformation Board is ever given the actual teeth to enforce censorship to allegedly protect national security, or if companies willingly comply, as Obama has called for it to happen, big tech sites and our own federal government could prevent Americans from easing accurate stories that might affect how voters choose to cast their ballots. Again, just give the government willy-nilly all the power you want. You know, I can't express, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but how scary all of this is. And am I the only one that's actually terrified when I hear the government wanting to do this type of thing? I don't want the government to censor anybody. I don't care how batshit crazy they are. They have a right to say what they need to say. I'll be able to read between the lines and know if they're crazy or not. I'll be able to decipher it myself. I would like to think I'm somewhat good at that. I'm not saying everybody is, but again, everybody has the right to say what they want to say. Why is this so hard? But again, the government will always want to take what you have. They want to take your money. They want to take your house at times. They want to take your liberties. They want to take your freedoms. They want to take your rights away, which is what we see here. And what they will tell you, oh, we're not taking it away, right? You can still say what you need to say. You're just not able to say this, but you can say a whole bunch of other stuff. Well, you can still buy a firearm, but you just can't buy these ones, right? Well, you could buy a 10-round magazine, but you can't buy a 20-round magazine. But you can still get bullets. You know, you can still buy them. Do you know what I mean? But you have to go through all these loopholes, the other background checks on bullets themselves and all this other stuff. It's another way, again, for them to slowly chisel away at your rights, folks. And I want to know what you think. Am I making a big deal out of this? Or is this some seriously scary crap here with the government wanting to create this disinformation governance board and determining themselves what is false and what isn't? You let me know down in the comments, folks. And as always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. And with that being said, I will see you later here on The Bald Brad Show.